I'm Oliver Goodenough. I'm one of the CodeX affiliated faculties, also on the faculties at Dartmouth College and at the Vermont Law and Graduate School. And we're going to, we have a fabulous panel here, but before we get to the fabulous panel, we're going to erupt just for a couple minutes with a little slice of data. For some years, CodeX, in fact, for a long time, CodeX has been keeping track of the legal tech industry through a mechanism principally called, I believe it's the CodeX Legal Tech List. And from that directory, from that list, we are lucky to have Peter Gunst, who is a founder at Legal.io and an entrepreneurial fellow at CodeX, and one of my student colleagues from Vermont Law and Graduate School, Teresa Keller, and they are going to give us a very couple little excerpts from the history of legal tech over the last 20 years that we've been able to pull from that database and also from some other databases. There's a full version of it which is available, and there will be a barcode at the end for that to be if you want to access. Is that correct, Peter? Correct. All right, let me turn over this. And there we go. You've got a clicker there.
All right. Amazing. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Fantastic to be here at another FutureLaw conference. Just excited to share a little bit of data with you that's coming out of a project that's now also a decade old. It's an initiative that started out with Stanford law students getting together in the basement of the law school every Wednesday night learning how to code. And this was the first project. And since, a decade later, we've been tracking what's now over 3,000 legal tech companies. And we'll share some data out of this, but the important thing is that you can just find it all online. You can download the tables and find some interesting evolutions there yourself. But man, what a decade, We started digging up a couple of hundred of these companies, right, in all kinds of categories. Now the index is tracking more than 3,000 individual legal technology companies, their funding, and other metadata about it. And it's been a pleasure to report on it from time to time here. And what's been really cool to see is that we're seeing a true acceleration of this ecosystem, right? We saw real surges post-2015, and then again post-2020. You see that the data on the tail end, right, is starting to slim down a bit. There's often a bit of a delay in these companies emerging and getting on the radar. But it just paints this story of amazing growth that's happening in the ecosystem.
To drill down a little further, looking at the global scale, tech isn't just here in Silicon Valley anymore. Legal tech is global. While the US does lead, there's visible traction in Europe, Latin America, and Asia. So we're really seeing a worldwide shift towards those digital legal services. Notably India, UK, Canada, and Germany. You can also see highlighted on this map, but the US is clearly leading. One piece of data that the Tech Index has been tracking over the years are 9 primary categories of legal tech. So these phrases should look familiar. It's really standard for the industry, but it's providing year-over-year insight into these areas which we're able to compare in these 5-year slices. The ecosystem is clearly diversifying. Early growth focused on e-discovery and document automation, but recent years show there's a bit more balance across contracting, litigation analytics, and access to justice tools.
It's also been very interesting to observe is the changing landscape of funding around this, and it gives just a really interesting indicator for where the money is going. And so, document management, some of these early categories, right, search, which we just heard about in this presentation, so really where the early money went. And now you're seeing also larger and larger rounds and a diversification of that ecosystem. We didn't include it here, but we also have data on the target client that the company is looking at, and you're seeing that the funding concentration really goes towards enterprise, like kind of use cases, right, law firms, and that building a consumer legal tech company is a very difficult proposition. So I really invite you as well to explore that data and take a look. It's quite interesting.
And probably to no one's surprise, we've seen a distinct rise in AI over the last 10, 15 years. Now, if you were paying attention to the last two slides, artificial intelligence was not one of those primary categories that was being tracked in the tech index since 2005. But since we're able to pull in the information from these companies, their metadata, this is how we're able to track the companies and their rise just in this artificial intelligence slice over the years. 2023 to 2025 shows a near doubling year over year. And this is different than all of the other categories because AI transcends the solution-based categories of technology and permeates virtually all areas. So this conference has discussed blockchain in the past. And so this was an interesting piece that found in the analysis process because blockchain, unlike SaaS or artificial intelligence, represents kind of a little blip when you're looking at all of the other tags that the over 3,000 records of companies are being tracked in the system.
It was very interesting to see that evolution. If you pull down the data, depending on what you're looking for, there's a whole range of interesting things that you can find. I think just overall, also being here at this anniversary edition, kind of seeing the community come together, it's kind of a testament to everything that's being built in legal tech, right? These graphs are a lot of stories, a lot of journeys, a lot of people banging their head against the wall, trying to make a difference, build something cool. And so it's really nice to see the lift that like CodeX, together with that ecosystem, has been able to create.
Thank you, thank you.